baggy inside the dress. So we're going to cinch it up underneath. Plus, making this lining piece a little bit smaller than the outer piece will keep it from being bulky. The lining will skim the body, and then the outer will be a little bit roomier. So I'm going to extend my center line from the center of the dart at the bottom, so the point at the dart at the bottom, through the vanishing point, up to the shoulder. And then from the shoulder, these are my contour lines, from the shoulder I'll reconnect all the way down to the dart legs, the dart leg notches.
Can you say that last bit again?
So I'm drawing in what I had here. So I've extended the center line of the dart to the shoulder, and then I've connected that point down to the dart leg notches. So I'm recreating what I have on here.
Okay. From that shoulder line.
And then I know that the strap is going to be going to the mid neck or the mid shoulder, and I know I've got 1/4 of an inch. I'm sorry, 1/8 of an inch of contouring at the shoulder and the back as well. So I'm going to kind of mark for that. So I know this stuff is going to go away, and I know this stuff is going to go away. Okay. All that's going to go away. Now, how tall was our side seam, or how much shorter was our side seam? Because we want our front and our back to match up. What did we do? 1.5 inches. So I'm going to lower this by 1.5 inches. And I'm going to square a little bit of a line so that when the front gets sewn to the back, it'll be an even line. And then I am going to fold this dart, but I'm not going to fold the dart. I'm going to fold the contour line shut, because I want to use this larger, bigger dart. I don't want to use the smaller one. So I'm going to fold my contour lines shut, just as if it's a giant dart vanishing at the shoulder. And mine's all chopped up, so it's not as easy.
Sorry, did you already measure the back strap length?
Nope, because I don't know where my back ends yet.
Okay.
But I know I just pre-planned. I drew in all my contour lines. I pre-planned that it's going to be 1/8 of an inch shorter up there. But now I've folded not the dart, but I folded the giant contour dart shut. And this is going to get shut permanently. So don't pre-cut your pattern piece like I did. Okay. But I do know I want my back to scoop down so it at least goes below that vanishing point. I don't want it to go higher. So let me see how my side seam here right now is like 7 1/4. How about let's drop it down 1/2 inch lower. So if our side seam is 7 and a whatever, make the center back 1/2 inch lower than that.
And that's including that 1.5 inches or from that 1.5 inches?
Side seam, measure what your new side seam length would be.
And that's 1.5 inches down from
1.5 inch down. So whatever yours is, mine is about 7 1/4. I'm going to do 1/2 inch less than that at center back. And this is, honestly, it's just personal preference. But just for sake of consistency, let's do 1/2 inch lower. That'll allow us to kind of scoop down a little bit without dropping down too far. And I'm going to square that line from the center back for a couple inches. I know my sloper is really straight at the waist for a little while, so I'm going to square for 1 inch or 1.5 inches. Okay, and then I need to connect this with that. So there might be a little bit of an S curve because I know I need to well, you know, this might be able to do it in a straight line. Let's see if I can get this in a straight line. Oh wow, that's totally a straight, that wants to be a straight line. So let's just do a straight line, which will mean we need to blend. I mean, look at that, it was totally lined up. It was meant to be. So we'll do a straight line here. If we do a straight line here, this is a good time to talk about blending. So I had squared before over here, but now this is no longer square. So if I want to sew this piece to this piece, right? If I want to sew this piece to this piece, look what's happening. If I choose to do an angle here, then and that's scooping down, I got a point. I want that point to go away. So I can either add some paper back here, like that, and reblend that curve, or I can, with these kind of taped together like this, I can just blend that point off. Maybe that's the easiest thing, then I don't have to tape on anything. But you see, this is this blending step where we need to kind of true our pieces to get rid of any little corners. That won't be fun to bind if I had a little corner there. So I'm going to blend off that little corner.
So Sandy, you don't work with this side contour line at all?
No, I don't need it tight. I still want her
Because
to
it's
be
a
able to
line.
breathe. I just don't want it to sag in the back. Yeah. Yeah, if this were a dress like this, where it's skin tight and it needs to be tight to stay up, I would get rid of the sides there. Absolutely, good question. I just didn't want gapping to happen back here and gapping to happen up here. But I do have straps to hold the height, to hold it up so it doesn't have to be skin tight at her ribs. Yeah. All right, so I've blended out a little bit there. May as well cut them both together while they're taped, then I know they're really blended. So yes, having 90-degree angles on both would be great, but if for whatever reason you make a choice to make one not 90-degree angles, the other side has to counteract it. Okay, so don't have 90-degree on one and an angle at the other. They should blend together. So you can start off with 90, and then if you see you're getting a weird point or you don't like the angle it's headed, blend the two together. Okay, now I'm going to cut this line. Across. Okay, and I can now untape these guys. And then this guy stays shut. We don't untape that. The dart doesn't need to happen anymore because the tip has been chopped off. That guy stays shut. And now this guy, while this is still here, we can determine how long our dart needs to be. So you can draw in the strap if you want to. So do you see how it's kind of like, I can, let me just open this back up. I don't want to measure this while the dart is still folded. So we're going to have our strap go from this kind of princess seam intersection all the way up to this mid-shoulder point, which is the dart leg closest to the center back. So our strap would go from kind of here to here.
Are you making a strap pattern?
Yeah, and I'm not making a strap pattern. I'm just drawing a line so I can measure it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need a length. So I know I'm going to measure from the cut edge to this 1/8 of an inch lower spot. So here I'm 10 3/8. So I'm going to say back, strap, 10 3/8. And then ultimately I'm going to have to add up my front to my back so I have a total strap length. But we'll do that in a little bit because we have to talk about seam allowance. Yeah.
So with the strap, if we're using the